Welcome back to track 2. 4-hour game with the Montreal roller derby. New skids on the block against the Helsinki. Good Lord, Helsinki roller derby all-stars. If I'm starting off this way, the entire country of Finland is going to come over here and kick my ass.
I was going to say, you have trouble with pronouncing the name of the city. Let's see how we do with the skaters.
That is going to do awesome. I am Scott Chicken with these.
I'm Casey Bonner.
There you go. I was going to introduce you, but, you know, jump all over it. Casey, would you care to introduce the new skids on the block?
I would love to. From Montreal, we've got Ojai.
All right, folks.
Number 0, we've got number 118, Trash and Smash. Number 1214, Salvadora Brawley. Number 123, Miracle Whips. Number 1773, Magnum PEI. Oh, we're going to take a break. We've got the national anthem for both Canada and Finland coming up.
Excellent.
Here.
I can't. My headphones are rough.
I didn't even let them hear it before they sang it. Wonderful job. Thank you so much. And thank you from the bigger tournament. We're so glad that you came over today. So we just have one more really quick. We're going to do Oh Canada. And I know that a few of you maybe know this one. And maybe, oh yeah, maybe Colonel City showed up for this. So if you're in the house and you know Oh Canada, we're going to do that now. And I'm going to attempt to do it like a march because I was told that that's what I was supposed to do. So, oh Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons command. Ring glowing hearts, we see the eyes, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Thank you. Thank you so much. And not represented in song, we'd like to thank Australia for coming really far, but we're not going to do their anthem. So, thank you. Good night.
All right, anthems have been sung. Back to the new skids lineup.
All right, where did we leave off? We left off with Magnum PEI number 1773. We've got number 187, Slavic Slayer. Number 1917, Russian Croulette. Number 1X, Mange-Moi Cool. Number 289, Cheese Grater. Number 33, Demand a Lashing. Number 35, Scores Easy. Number 420, Meliwana. Number 658, Surgical Strike. Number 66, Falcon Punch. Number 74, Swing La Bacasse. Number 8, Just Bandit.
And we will get to the Helsinki roller derby all-stars after this first jam. Helsinki already played once today. They lost a nail-biter to Boston, 160 to 148.
And I see that is Meliwana lined up to jam from Montreal.
That it is, and I didn't catch. It's Mia, I believe, jamming for Helsinki. And a very slow, very clumped up pack to start with. But Mia breaking free of the front of the pack is your lead jammer.
I was pretty excited about this game beforehand. I think we're going to see a good matchup between these two teams. Fun to see two non-American teams representing here in day one of the Big O.
Exactly. Montreal ranked a little bit above Boston. Montreal currently ranked 17th in the WFTDA. Team Helsinki, the All-Star Ninja Turtles, by the way, ranked 63rd. And Meliwana has exited the pack and is clearly not lead jammer. As that was Mia. Mia calls off the jam. And 3 fingers up. Helsinki draws first blood, and let's run down their lineup. Number 1, Jannica Saxelin. Number 101, Tauru Saxelin. Number 12, Paulina Brandt. 156, just saw her jamming is Mia. Number 28, Nina Erwes. Number 39, Mayu Rina. Number 404, Iris Suominen. 55 is Maria Kosonen. 604, Sara Ekholm. Number 666, Jonna Ojala. Number 88 is Varpu Knutila. Number 94, Tina Kimari. 95 is Kati Kyoro. And number 96, Linda. Those are the Helsinki Roller Derby All-Stars.
Falcon Punch jamming for Montreal. Falcon Punch finding an outside lane. She is out as lead. Quick pass for Montreal.
Very quick running up the outside, or inside, I guess that was technically, if I'm looking at the track in the right way and not in my reverse brain. Meanwhile, Paulina Brandt jamming for Helsinki just reached the pack as it was called off. So 4-0 run, Montreal taking the lead 4-3.
So Helsinki's done a bit of a tour of the North American continent. They played Terminal City on the 25th of April. Terminal defeated them 215 to 185. Really close game.
Very close. Then they drove down I-5 to Seattle and played Rat City Roller Girls. Rat City winning that one, but I don't have the score. Oh, beautiful spin maneuver by Montreal to break out as lead jammer. That is number 123, Miracle Whips. Didn't need a whip at all.
And scoring pass by Miracle Whips, picking up full 5 points.
Miracle Whips at the big gap on the inside to roll through there. Jamming for Helsinki is Maria Kosonen. And she is trapped behind some heavy Montreal defense as Miracle Whip through again for 5 more.
Back wall by Helsinki, trying to slow the roll of Montreal in this jam.
And finally fighting her way through the scrum is Kosonen. She breaks free. No points, 3 up for Montreal. Stretching their lead out now 17-3.
I love watching Meliwana jam. I like her jeggings that she jams in. I mean, it's almost as if she's saying, whatever, no big deal.
I'm just out for a skate. Yeah, just
laid back.
Rolling, you know. She needs to get a helmet that looks like it's one of those giant 70s style headphone radios.
Or one that has like 2 water bottles and straws.
Yes. The drink holder hat, that would be great. Mia jamming for Helsinki, and she breaks free. It is your lead jammer. But Meliwana clear the pack right behind her. But Mia with a wide gap through the middle of the pack, swoops in, hits the hips, calls off the jam. 4-0 run for Helsinki Roller Derby.
That's Mia's second time up and second time to earn the lead in this game so far. Falcon Punch back in the rotation for Montreal, and Brent back up for Helsinki.
And Montreal's Falcon Punch, I believe, popping out the outside. Free for lead jammer. Brandt breaking free, but half a lap or so behind. As Falcon Punch runs into the back of the pack. Trips to the inside, almost takes out a ref, but not quite. Calls off the jam, 1-0 Montreal run.
I want to thank you for tuning in on WFTDA.tv today.
Yes, and thanks to our friends at Blaze Streaming Media for making this all happen. That's Taru Saksalin jamming for Helsinki. But out front in the jeggings, Meliwana, lead jammer for Montreal, as Taru Saksalin bumped outside and has to recycle back to the back of the pack. And taking a heavy shoulder check from Demanda Lashing.
5 points in the sky for Meliwana. From what I hear, Meliwana and Demanda Lashing consistently come out getting MVP awards for this Montreal team. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Demanda Lashing in the pack for the game.
Meanwhile, Taru Saksalin pushing, trying to get to the front of the pack as it stretches out. The Helsinki defense pushing to the back. Now catching up to the pack. And through again, Meliwana. 5 more points. Stretching lead now 28-7.
Cheese grater, it's got a hip on Helsinki. So we've got scoring pass now for Helsinki. Meliwana picking up another full set of points on that pass. 4 more for Montreal.
Meliwana dancing on the toe stops around the corner. Calling off the jam. 32-7, and Helsinki will send Mia to the line against Falcon Punch for the new skids on the block. Oh, and Montreal lining up on the pivot line.
I feel like I've been seeing that a little bit more so far this season. Enough that I'm not surprised by it anymore, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. There seems to be more of that one lining up on the pivot, the other bridging halfway through so as not to get the no-pack penalty. And a cut track called on the Helsinki jammer, so power jam for Montreal. Falcon Punch taking a big hip as Rina backs her well up almost to the jammer line.
Cheese grater back out on the pack from serving a penalty for Montreal.
And Montreal able to break up the Helsinki defense line and free Falcon Punch. Falcon Punch now coming rolling in on the scoring pass as the pack start to pick up speed. A bit of a shoulder out. And also out of the penalty box is Mia, our Helsinki jammer. Bumped to the inside, but not having to back up very far, but still stuck in the front of that pack with a heavy, heavy Montreal defense, just shutting her down and knocking her out.
Montreal really working that brace 3-wall at the front of the pack.
And working it well, and then Jess Bandit backing up to make sure that Mia had to fight her way all the way through everyone, which she does. That was her initial pass. And with a little burst of speed, Falcon Punch clears the pack, calls off the jam, picking up the full 5 points.
She was able to pass Mia when Mia was still in the pack before she was able to break for her scoring pass. Miracle Whips wearing the star for Montreal. Brent for Helsinki. I was told at playoffs last year that the wolf leggings that Montreal wears, that's their power animal. So it looks like Helsinki's power animal must be a Ninja Turtle.
It is. It must be. A couple of their alternates on the bench are wearing Ninja Turtle leggings. I think that would be good, just distracting enough.
It's the battle between the turtles and the wolves.
That it would. But Paulina Brandt out front is your lead jammer. Helsinki breaking a bit of a drought where Montreal was getting lead jammer repeatedly. Brandt bumped to the outside, has to recycle back. And that lets Miracle Whip sneak through with 4 points. And the bench calls for the call-off. Paulina Brandt does. 4 points even. Takes Helsinki to 11, Montreal 41. I'm going to mention LTD. LTD is the best way to connect, at least if you're in Eugene. It could be the best way to connect everywhere else as well, but it's especially good here in Eugene.
Ohai wearing the star for Montreal, Kosonen for Helsinki.
On a very slow start, nobody getting any movement against the back at all, and finally things starting to break free. Oh, and Ohai with the forearm assist to get around the pack, so a power jam for Helsinki. First power jam of the game, I believe.
Good opportunity for Helsinki if they can work their way around that front wall by Montreal.
Exactly, but Montreal working the rotating hurricane defense, swarming left and right, finally able to break through, but just the first pass for Kosonen. Now moving into score, takes a big shoulder. Surgical strike with the surgical striking shoulder. But the 5 points do go up.
Helsinki blockers getting in there trying to break up the pack a little bit.
Yes, Helsinki in that last pass doing a good job of breaking up at the front, but also catching the goat towards the back and slowing things down. As in and out of the penalty box going for both teams. Montreal now down to 3 as Kosonen going on one skate, sliding through, grabbing the 4.
That's 14 points on the board so far for Helsinki in this jam.
And Kosonen breaks through one more time as Ohai, almost clear but rolls out of bounds, has to back up. This is her scoring pass.
Ohai did pick up 4 there.
Yeah, I guess she had gotten past when she rolled out, so had the 4 points. Oh, and power jam now for Montreal as Kosonen heading to the penalty box for a cut track.
Ohai's right behind her, though, so we're going to have just a short period, and then a do-si-do.
We'll get the dreaded starting the jam with both jammers in the box, and one of them runs out immediately game. Good times. Team timeout by Team Helsinki, which is a good time to mention Bruised Skate Noose. You can get the original over-the-shoulder roller skate holder to keep your skates aired out and to show them off with the Bruised Skate Noose. Find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or online at bruisedsn.com.
If you have anything you'd like to say about this fine Big O tournament here in Eugene, Oregon, you can hashtag Big O 2015. Let us know how much you're enjoying these games so far. I don't know if any of you watched the Texas-Denver game prior to this, but that was a nail-biter.
It was. I caught a little bit of it. I'm short, so I had to jump up and down to see over the crowd. You can also send us pictures of your cats or dogs enjoying the Big O with hashtag Big O Cats or hashtag Big O Dogs. Because who doesn't like pictures of cats and dogs on the internet?
Feel free also to hashtag Big O hamsters, snakes, ferrets, wildebeests, or yaks. We don't discriminate.
Any old pet is good. Well, we're pausing, waiting for jammers to be released. And away they both go. They got to wait their 10 seconds. And oh, that was the Star Stash. Haven't seen a Star Stash all season. And there it was. As Ohai pretending, I'm going to hand it off, doesn't, pulls it back, cuts around, but bumped out of bounds. And now completes the pass to Meliwana.
After nearly a full jam, the last jam, before she just headed to the penalty bench. Probably smart strategy by Montreal to put the pivot cap on Meliwana.
That it was. Kosonen from Helsinki was your lead jammer, and she did pick up 3 points before calling off the jam, so that will take Helsinki to 33 as they narrow that lead down now 12 points with just about, not quite the halfway mark in this period. Miracle Whips will be jamming for Montreal. Mia for Helsinki. Back splitting up a bit and then coming back together as Helsinki was lined up at the back. Mia pushing to the front, but Miracle Whips finds the gap, and she is clear and is your lead jammer. Meanwhile, Mia bumped to the outside and having to adjust her helmet cover. I don't know if it was starting to come off or not, but she's certainly fumbling with it a lot. As Miracle Whip slides through for 5 points.
Plenty of time for Montreal to set up their wall there at the back of the pack to continue holding Mia on her first pass.
Yeah, and doing a great job of bumping her out of bounds and then rolling things back and just keeping her trapped as long as possible. Miracle Whips calls off the jam. And that stretches the lead back up to 20.
I feel like with Helsinki, you've got a team that hasn't had too much of an opportunity to play the North American teams, so this is a lot more indicative of where they belong in those rankings, skating against some teams that are ranked maybe slightly higher than they are, some Division I teams, some Division II teams. You know, this is going to give a pretty true picture of where Helsinki kind of fares in the international roller derby rank, I think.
Definitely. Paulina Brandt jamming for Helsinki. And Falcon Punch for Team Montreal. And Brandt pushing her way to the front, finally stretches the pack far enough to escape the front as lead jammer. Falcon Punch also stretching out as Brandt comes in on her scoring pass. One skater to beat. Oh, as Montreal cycles back to the front. They are doing an excellent job today of that rotating to the front. But she is able to pick up all 4. I think Helsinki also having a bit of a adrenaline dump after the Boston game. You know, played very close, came close to winning, and now having a short break and playing Montreal, of course, fresh. They haven't played yet today. But holding their own. I think when I looked on Flat Track Stats, Montreal was not quite a 2-to-1 expectation to win.
Helsinki thus far beating those odds.
Yes, they are. And the whistle has blown. Just no one's going anywhere but sideways. And then down as Meliwana working on the pack, and the pack tripping itself up in front. And a power jam for Meliwana as Maria Kosonen heading to the penalty box for the low block. And Montreal playing the passive offense, moving to passive-aggressive. Starting to break things up for Meliwana.
I think I would call that passive-aggressive. It's not passive for long. It's
no,
just well-timed strike, I would say.
Exactly. The clear-out didn't quite perfectly work, but it was good enough eventually to break Meliwana free for 5 points.
So I kind of I like to call that kind of more like an unleash the beast offense.
That's a good term.
They keep that pack slow or still for a while, but as soon as their jammer comes up, it's just unleashing fury on that pack.
Mm-hmm. Stops everything so that the jammer can catch, doesn't have to skate quite as far.
Working quite well for Montreal in this jam.
That it is. Kosonen out of the penalty box.
And Orina has taken Meliwana out to the outside. She's going to recycle back to the back of the pack. Meet that same front wall of Helsinki blockers.
Helsinki one shy in the pack currently, while Montreal at full strength, which is not allowing Kosonen to get anywhere. Trying to find a gap in the inside, and then takes a heavy shoulder from 118 trash and smash to smash her out of bounds and back her up.
Rina just hanging tight on to Meliwana. Meliwana's going to get a forearm
penalty right at the whistle. Gets the 4 points, but Helsinki will start off with the power start. Mia on the jammer line. A definite scoring opportunity for Helsinki. Now trailing by 30, 67-37. And with the whistle, pack starting to shove forward. Mia pushing Montreal to the front as much as she can. And finally breaks out.
Helsinki's holding that goat back there at the back of the pack, forcing the front wall to let Mia go. She's back around on her scoring pass.
And takes a bit of a hip and, picks up the low block in the process. So that will be a 30-second power jam for Montreal as Meliwana released from the box just before Mia gets there.
Meliwana recycled back by Suominen.
But able to dance up the inside line and clear the pack. That is her initial pass. Remember, no lead jammer anymore, so another full minute in this jam. Power jam coming close to an end as Mia is now released. So both skaters on scoring passes. And Helsinki quickly closing down the outside line to hold Meliwana. And Montreal trying to close it down. Not quite able to as Mange, last line of defense,
and Mange has got the star in her hand. Got a pass off from Meliwana, and she is now out, getting 4 on that star pass. We've got a track cut, taking Helsinki to the penalty bench. Mia's going to do her time there.
2 jammer penalties and 1 jam for Helsinki, and Mia not what they needed when they started off on the power jam. Maj swings the hips around, gets the 5 points, calls off the jam, will return to her bench and probably have the fingers checked out, because when she went down it looked like someone rolled over them, and she was definitely not happy with that.
But clearly she showed you don't skate with your fingers. That's a great end of the jam for Mange.
I believe that's in the rule book somewhere.
That you're not allowed to skate with your fingers?
Well, maybe not. I haven't read the whole rule book in a while. Falcon punch jamming for Montreal. And the new skids with the full passive offense now moving forward, a bit of aggression, trying to break things free. Or at least roll the pack up.
Mia's standing ready to re-enter for Helsinki. She's going to meet a fully prepared back wall of Montreal.
And she's going to meet it too hard, and that will be her 3rd straight jammer penalty in 2 jams. Rolls in a little too much, knocks someone down, back block. Meanwhile, Falcon Punch clears the pack, is lead jammer. That was her initial pass, but the scoring pass, very easy, relaying on the outside. Falcon Punch dances through quickly for 5 points.
Montreal expanding their lead with these power jam opportunities that they've had in the last couple of jams. Helsinki bridging the pack as much as they can. Finally, Eres having to let her go at the front of the pack.
Airways and Rina doing a good job at the front as much as they could, but only so much you can hold back when you're getting shoved ahead.
However, that's a good penalty clock kill by Helsinki. So we've got both jammers on the line to start off. Brunt for Helsinki and Miracle Whips for Montreal.
And penalty box miraculously empty. So 5 on 5 in the pack. Miracle Whips pushing through the middle and does keep the feet in bounds to clear the back and grab lead jammer. Brandt, meanwhile, knocked to the outside, had to recycle back.
Miracle Whips coming in hot there on Demanda Lashing.
But fortunately aimed at her own blocker.
That's right.
You can back block her all you want.
Just trying to find the friendly side of that pack.
Yes, Miracle Whips bumped to the outside. Linda backing her all the way up. Thought she might have caught the cut. But Miracle Whip's keeping 1 foot out of bounds to make it stay legal. And Miracle Whips is through with a scoring pass and through very quickly with a second as the outside lane wide open. Paulina Brandt, meanwhile, still struggling to work through on her initial pass.
Cheese grater recycling. Brandt far back into turn 2.
And Surgical Strike picking up a penalty on the hit. So 2 blockers in the penalty box for Montreal, and that finally clears the way for Brandt to escape the pack. A minute and 15 seconds into the jam. And Miracle Whips calls off the jam. 3 points up for Montreal, and looking like we're going to get our first official review of the game called by Helsinki. Helsinki trailing 99-42.
Each team, of course, does get 1 official review per half.
To do, and why not use it? 5 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Take it as a timeout. The team gets a little rest. Hopefully get a call reversed, but Helsinki, that penalty, jammer penalty, is really hurting them in the last several jams. Hard to keep it close when you can't score any points.
That's true.
With insight like that, it's a wonder I'm not paid for this job.
Yeah, with my clever retort, it's a wonder I'm not as well.
Let's mention Notorious RED, Notorious Gear Detergent, deodorant rather, not detergent, by Notorious RED. Smell clean, even if you play dirty. Pick some up at the Fast Girl Skates booth if you happen to be coming to the Big O in person, or at your favorite roller derby retailer.
Well, if Tara Armov, the proprietress of Notorious RED, is listening, maybe Notorious RED detergent is your next step.
If so, I don't want to cut. I wouldn't ask Tara for that. She'd beat me up.
She's a tough lady.
Yes, she is. And we'll mention LTD again, because LTD is the best way to connect.
We've got a ton of great derby still coming up today, tomorrow, and the next day, so don't go away. Get comfortable on your couches out there and keep watching us on WFTDA.tv.
Indeed. Both of these teams are done for the day, but they will both play tomorrow. Montreal playing tomorrow in the 9:30 a.m. game. That'll be on track 3. And Helsinki plays tomorrow at 5 p.m. against Northwest Arkansas, so they're getting a bit of a break. And I don't see movement in the box, so I believe the official review was what it was. And Tauro Saxonen jamming, I believe, for Helsinki, swoops through because the Montreal pack very tiny, just the 1 blocker on the track. And she swoops through very quickly to score with her 4. Meliwana jamming for Montreal, also clearing the pack fairly easily, but now hung up by the 4-pack defense.
Saxonen coming in so quickly that she's able to just jump right around that wall. When the pack is at a standstill and the jammer's going that fast, they only get 1 chance to get a hip on her. There's no rotating around a jammer speed skating like that around the track.
Not at all. And Tauro was very quick and very agile, and also not that big, so very easy to get low and swing under the hips, if not through the hips. This time the hip catches up, but it's called as a high block because, again, as I mentioned, Tauro Saxonen, not the largest skater on the track. She's also a member of Team Finland. And finally calls off the jam as we had a star pass on the Montreal side. But a big, big run by Helsinki takes them to 61 now to Montreal 99.
Ladies and gentlemen, 19-point jam for Helsinki. Make some noise!
If you can hear our house fellows in the background, that was a 19-point jam.
That it was, and if you at home would like to make some noise, please feel free. We won't stop you. Just send us a picture, hashtag Big O Noise.
I'd like to see what kind of hashtags people could attached to Big O.
There could be anything. And speaking of anything, also missed the jammer penalty at the end of the last jam. So we got Maria Kosonen jamming on the power start. And one skater to beat pushes to the front, and she is clear and is your lead jammer. Salvadora Brawley had picked up the star in the star pass in the past jam, and she is now standing in the penalty box. But 5 points on the board for Helsinki.
Nice little momentum shift. Pendulum has swung for Helsinki. Helsinki putting points up on the board.
And surgical strike again with the surgical strike of the hip as that pendulum swings and knocks Kosonen to the ground and out of bounds. She has to recycle while at the front of the pack, pushing her way through. Salvadora Brawley. Almost clear. Runs into Jannica Saxelin and finally exits the pack.
5 more points for Helsinki, brings them up to 71 points to Montreal's 99. Just about 3 minutes left here in the first half.
So again, Power Jam playing its part as an excellent last jam by Saxelin, and then this Power Jam picking up extra, narrowing that big Montreal lead that they had built up with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this first half.
Falcon Punch trying to wedge her shoulder in a forewall of Helsinki.
And Paulina Brown trying to go right through the middle of the fore scrum of Montreal.
That's Falcon Punch, your lead jammer for Montreal. She managed to drive that wedge that she was looking for.
Oh, and Falcon Punch through again as Brandt bumped to the outside and has to recycle back. So the full 5 points for Montreal takes them over the century mark to 104.
I don't know what Canadian money's like, but in the U.S., she just picked up a nickel.
I believe Canada has nickels as well.
Okay, if you say so.
Last time I was there. I don't know if maybe they don't call it a nickel. I'm sure, but please send us a tweet, hashtag Big O Canadian Money, to let us know.
Well, I don't know about a 15-cent piece, but that's 15 so far for Montreal. Coming up on her 4th scoring pass. And a track cut is going to make that a power jam for Montreal.
So Montreal swinging that momentum back the other way as we tick down to a minute left in this half. Montreal currently sitting 119 on a 20-point jam. And the Montreal offensive blocking just pushing everyone to the side, now trapping Ohala. There's the goat at the back to stretch things along. Falcon Punch goes on one skate, skates around, keeps the foot in bounds. 5 more points up, 25 total for the jam.
Less than a minute left in the half. Looks like we've got time for just one more.
25-point jam, makes noise for that.
So what we were saying about that pendulum, it does go back and forth just for the second time as Helsinki's just bringing that gap in closer in the points. Montreal comes out and has a huge jam, driving it wide open again.
And Team Helsinki sending Taru Saxonen again to the jammer line against Miracle Whips, and Miracle Whips gets the pack moving to the right and cuts around to the inside, and she is clear and is your lead jammer. Taru Saxonen also clear, but about a half a lap behind as Miracle Whips tries to jump, lands the foot out of bounds, calls off the jam 0-0, and that takes us to the half.
That's right. If there's one thing we've seen in this half, don't give Taru Saxelin too much room to maneuver. She
Clearly
is
not.
coming in fast.
Fast and agile. That's the word for that. We will be back in 9 minutes and 42 seconds. And they'll leave the camera on this, and you'll just watch us sit there. Nope, see, they switched back to the other. They were wise.
All right, we got about a minute
Well, halftime coming to an end. Let's look at the penalty board, shall we, Casey?
I say we shall.
All right, Montreal has 16 total penalties. They've got 2 skaters with 4, Surgical Strike and Salvadora Brawley, both sitting on 4. Everyone else in just fine shape. And on the Helsinki side, 13 total, and Mia, as we were discussing while the mics were off during halftime, with 3 penalties and 4 jams. Not surprising she has 4 total penalties, or 3 penalties and 2 jams, rather.
Yeah. And with 2 of those almost back-to-back.
Exactly.
Definitely also helping Montreal kind of widen that scoring gap for a minute.
And Montreal widening it again at the very end, now sitting 124-71.
But we have seen a swinging back and forth. Helsinki hasn't held the lead yet in this game, but they've really kind of been doing an accordion number with the point differential. They'll have these really big jams and just come right within spitting distance of Montreal, and then Montreal answers with a big jam of their own, drives the wedge right back in.
Exactly, and Montreal expected to win, as I mentioned. I think they were at 90%, 85 to 90% on flat track stats, expected to win with a not quite 2-to-1 score advantage.
After this game, stay tuned. Megatron and myself will be bringing you the unofficial review recap show. We'll talk a little bit about this game. Going to try to get bench coach Plastic Patrick from Montreal to come have a chat with us.
Excellent.
And we'll bring you up to date on some of the things that have been happening today and what you can look forward to later on.
All right. Right now, we can look forward to more roller derby. With Mia, as we mentioned, sitting on 4 penalties, up against Miracle Whips. Each team looking like they have 1 blocker in the box. Mia out first as your lead jammer, but right behind her, Miracle Whips, and Miracle Whips throws a hip to her in the turn. Both skaters go down. Mia calls off the jam.
Miracle Whips continues with the momentum, just making sure that there's no penalty called on that. If there's a penalty, she's still got the gas down,
Exactly. That was good. And Mia a little bit shaky getting up. Miracle Whips gives the high five on the way back to the bench. Like, hey, I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just playing roller derby. That's all. Next on the jammer line, Taru Saksalin for Helsinki and Falcon Punch for Montreal.
Taru driving the front wall up as far as she can, and they're going to be forced to let her go. She's your lead jammer.
The Falcon Punch also pushing through, had a little help at the back of the pack. I believe that was Russian Croulet in the back. Oh, it was Magnum PEI. Had the number wrong. 4 points up, however, for Taru Saksalin.
Once again, we're just seeing Taru Saksalin taking advantage of getting that speed. She's got such tremendous speed coming into the back of the pack, and with the pack at that standstill, Montreal's not able to recycle around her. If they miss that initial hit, then Taru Saksalin is already nothing but dust.
Through and gone. Maja Kosonen jamming for Helsinki. But out the front of the pack, Miracle Whips for Montreal is your lead jammer. While Kosonen struggles through the front pack, finally breaks free. As Miracle Whips engaging, rolls around, grabs the points, calls off the jam.
I'm hoping that a photographer caught over there Linda taking Miracle Whips down briefly with her backside. Some of my favorite photographs are the ones where skaters' faces are just being pressed against the butts of blockers. The expressions are always absolutely priceless.
That is Varpu Knutila jamming for Helsinki. And Falcon Punch again for Montreal, and Falcon Punch through. It is your lead jammer.
Falcon Punch kind of able to pick her path there through the Helsinki blockers.
And Knutila also dancing around the pack. breaks free, but Falcon Punch grabs the points, calls it off. Only 3, but still 3-0, locking Helsinki out of the scoreboard is a good thing.
The smaller ones count.
Indeed they do. In the second half, time control becoming more of an effect, or more important rather. Montreal sitting 132, Helsinki 75.
Daughter Sexeline starting with looking like she's going to dig her way under the earth to get past that pack. Nice low start.
Nice indeed, and she does jump around the inside of the pack, but through first. Miracle whips from Montreal. Montreal lead jammer. Continuing to control that clock. And Miracle Whips accelerates around the outside, hops, comes down clean, calls off the jam.
0-0.
But 0-0, yeah, because I was thinking she made the hop and landed with 1 foot out of bounds, so not the clean pass.
But definitely smart to call that off before she gets recycled back to the back, with Taru coming up into the back of the pack herself.
Exactly. And I think we're having an official review. The Helsinki coach had come out and was indicating to the refs, hey, that was skating out of bounds. And I think the refs may be discussing that. Or perhaps they're discussing where they're going to go to eat after this. One possibility is the Wild Duck Cafe. They have sandwiches, salads, snacks, coffee, and your favorite beverages if you happen to be here. Wild Duck Cafe, a fine sponsor of the Big O.
So as I said, we will be here all weekend. Action starts tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. tomorrow
I get to be calling the juniors at 9 o'clock in the morning. These poor kids, it's Saturday. Let them sleep in.
I'm also on at 9 in the morning tomorrow, actually.
All right. Mia jamming for Helsinki, pushes around Cheese Grater, and she is through and is your lead jammer. First lead jammer in several jams for Helsinki.
Meliwana also out on her scoring pass.
Mia was bumped to the inside, now pushed to the out. Thought I saw her signaling for the call-off, but apparently not. That's Meliwana through with 4, and Mia finds a gap in the pack and jumps through herself. Meliwana back in on her second scoring pass, but trapped a bit. Mia works around much of the Montreal pack, gets a skater to overcommit and go to the ground, rolls through 4 points. As Meliwana regroups and attempts again.
A bit of a call and answer jam. 4 up for each jammer, back and forth. That's 5, however, for Mia in Helsinki, as she did lap Meliwana. Star pass happened for Montreal.
That it did, and finally, Star out of the pack. 4 points signaled, so Meliwana clearly passed someone before the pass. But Helsinki narrowing it up now, 140 to 91. With 24 minutes to go in the game, we'll reset with Kosonen jamming for Helsinki, Falcon Punch for Montreal. Pack starting up close to the pivot line and then rolling slowly backwards. And Kosonen finds a gap on the outside of the line. One skater to beat as Montreal again rolling to the front and able to hold her back just long enough for Falcon Punch to break out as your lead jammer.
Sometimes it only takes that second. Maj joined by Surgical Strike and Ojai there at the front of the pack. And suddenly it's no love for Helsinki. 5 points for Montreal.
And a star pass as Maria Kosonen passing it off. to the pivot. I believe that's Majorina. Yes, it is, and she is clear. That is her initial pass.
First star pass for Helsinki of the game.
I think you might be right.
I would put money on it.
All right, I'm not a betting man. I will not take that bet. Varpu Knutila will be jamming for Helsinki against Miracle Whips. Helsinki held scoreless in that last jam, 91, Montreal 148. So Montreal stretching their lead slightly, and a good chance to do it again as they break free Miracle Whips for lead jammer. Knutila, meanwhile, stymied at the front by a heavy 3 scrum, which bumps her to the inside and recycles her back.
Cheese grater waiting at the front of the pack.
She's going to try to play the chest-to-chest move, but her momentum was going just a little the wrong way, and that allowed Knutila to finally knock her out of the way, but to no avail, as Miracle Whips calls off the jam 3-0 run for Montreal, stretching it up now a 60-point lead, 151 to 91.
I do know Montreal does have a knack for having that one last skater out, just waiting for the blockers to let the opposing jammer through that little hole that they've made, just knowing that they're coming face-to-face to the last blocker. Great awareness by Montreal. And all it takes is a couple of seconds. Pack reforms, done deal.
And hey, Helsinki has lead jammer again, and who is it? It's Taru Saksalin, of course. She's been dominating the second half and the end of the first half. Each of her jams very energetic and very quick.
She's made a fan of me.
Yes, she has. She's made a huge fan of my daughter. 5 points up for Taru. Meanwhile, Falcon Punch still trapped and getting churned around by the pack defense
Falcon
of
Punch
Helsinki.
is out now.
She is out, but did get lapped by Taru. And Saksalin coming through again, puts on the afterburners, accelerates around the outside of Mange.
Taru's going to trust in her blockers and her speed. She's got control of this jam as lead. She's going to keep on trucking.
Yeah, exactly. At the front of the pack, her sister, Yannicka, picking up a low block penalty as she had gone down and tripped up Falcon Punch. And Taru bumped to the outside, calls off the jam. But that takes Helsinki over the 100-point mark. 107, Montreal 155.
Timeout called by Montreal by the lovely Plastic Patrick, who I'm hoping will be joining Megatron and I for the recap show after this game.
48 points is going on to separate these two teams right now with 20 minutes left in the first half, or second half. That's anyone's game. That's everyone's game. We're really close to finish the action out here on the track. I'd like to say thank you to the ASOs. Thank you to the volunteers.
So we've got 20 minutes to go in this game. Coming up next on this very track is the Lane County Concussion against Austin, little men's derby.
Austin Anarchy.
Anarchy, there you go. Or on track 1 at 5:30, you've got Bay Area versus Atlanta. I may have to stick around and watch that.
And just after that at 6 o'clock, Rose City Rollers versus Philly. That's going to be on track 3 starting at 6 o'clock.
So plenty more high-quality roller derby. You got, what, 6 more games? Just today alone. Mia jamming for Helsinki, Miracle Whips for Montreal. And Miracle Whips hops the hips around and is your lead jammer.
Amanda Lashing thrusting her hips back, just making it a little bit more difficult for Mia to enter the pack.
And then getting called for a penalty for failure to reform, I think. I didn't see the signal, but that's the only thing I can think it could have been.
I was mesmerized by that.
It was stunning. Like, wow, just to juke the hips back like, oh, you stepped over too quick. Didn't quite work. 159-107 Montreal lead as Kosonen comes in again to jam for Helsinki. And the mighty jeggings of Melijuana.
The mighty jeggings. Said no one ever.
Hashtag mighty jeggings. And back block jeggings no less. As Melijuana heading to the box, so power jam for Helsinki. And Maria Kosonen in on her first scoring pass. Shoots Malsh to the inside and dances around the out. 5 points up for Helsinki.
And she's coming in for another scoring pass. Oh, nice little pirouette on the inside line at the apex is going to earn her another 5.
Spins around, catches Malsh right on the hip, just enough. So not in the back, just in that engagement zone on the side. And enough to bounce her around, and again rolls through one more time as Melijuana released, but 3 straight passes of 5 points rather. And as the pack speeds up, Kosonen bounces off like a pinball.
Another huge jam. Our pendulum has swung once again.
It has 19
Giant
up.
jam for Helsinki. Great apex jump there. Apex jump calls it off. 4 more points for Helsinki.
And that is how you get it down to a 19-point game.
23
Or 29-point game,
points
rather.
on the board.
Somehow I'm subtracting 159 and 130 and getting 19. I don't know. Exchange rates, something.
We don't have to take math tests before they give us microphones.
And that is a good thing. Miracle Whips will jam for Montreal. Taru Saxonen for Helsinki as the slow creeping backwards pack to start the jam. Both jammers sizing each other up. Taro finally heads to the outside, and it's another power jam. So I believe that was a back block called on Miracle Whips, and this is not what Montreal wants. The fast and wily Saxonen jamming. And Helsinki opting for that passive aggression. Trying to clear the way.
Montreal does have their full complement of blockers on the track, but Helsinki playing that get the goat style defense.
I have enjoyed the last year and a half. The GOAT has come back more after there was the year of just pure passive offense, and now the trapping the GOAT returning to its rightful place.
Or are we going to call that trapping a wolf?
In this case, probably. Jam is called off. Miracle Whips was out of the penalty box and had run through very quickly. But Helsinki now I can say it's a 19-point game.
That's math.
Much easier math. And Helsinki asking for an official review.
Helsinki looking like they are really doing the sprint at the end of the marathon here in this bout.
Well, they got 15 minutes now. They don't have to play until 5:30 tomorrow. Why not blow it all out, go drink some Ninkasi beer, and pass out for about 18 hours?
Well, that's 33 points Helsinki grabbed in the last 2 jams alone. So, yeah, like you said, we've got a 19-point game here on track 2 at the Big O in Eugene, Oregon. Coming to you live from WFTDA.tv.
And we will thank another of our sponsors, RollerCon. I've never been, but I think you should go.
Say it isn't so. You've never been to RollerCon.
I've never been to RollerCon.
I've been to all but one RollerCon.
Well, there you go.
I've been to more RollerCons than any human being should be able to survive, at least the way I do them.
Which I've heard is the way to do it. I would like to compliment the Helsinki coach on his pizza Converse shoes, which you can see in the left side of the screen.
Wow.
Little pepperoni pizza shoes.
coaches having a very serious discussion with our head ref in the center of the track. I'm sure we'll get a word here.
Okay, so the situation on this is that Helsinki challenged and they asked for an official review on the black jammer and a black back block that was not called. Has decided that yes, it is a call, and the black jammer will start in the penalty box for the next jam.
All right, so as I understood what was related from the house announce side, Helsinki was requesting an official review, believed a back block should have been called on the Montreal jammer. Umpire strikes back. Our head referee conferred with his colleagues and said, you're right. That should have been a back block.
So that means Helsinki will retain their official review.
That they will, and they are also on a power start with Miracle Whips in the penalty box.
Mia just not able to hold on to that inside line. Monge taking her back to the back, but she found that nice lane. Lots of friendly offense from the Helsinki blockers, sweeping open the door. I like to call that the gentleman, madame.
It was very polite and very effective. This time not quite able Helsinki to close it up, or open it up rather, but Mia finding a gap in the middle of the pack, breaks through with 5 points. And that takes us to 145-159. As Miracle Whips out of the box and now engaged with the back of the Helsinki pack. Finally clearing in her initial pass. Mia looking for a gap, trying to find a space, looks back over the shoulder, sees Miracle Whips approaching, calls off the jam, and Miracle Whips slides in safe to the bench.
She's safe.
And 3 more for Helsinki takes us to an 11-point game with 14.5 minutes to go. Now in the last game, Helsinki did just come within 12, lost to Boston by 12. Boston ranked a bit lower than Montreal.
Could be Helsinki was just warming up.
Could be. When I was talking to the bench earlier, I said, oh, you guys are trying to pull a Terminal City from last year, where Terminal came in a little under the radar, caught a few teams by surprise, moved up in the rankings.
I don't think Terminal City's going to be surprising anybody this week.
Not at all,
with their
exactly.
skills.
And Kosonen is your lead jammer. Maria Kosonen jamming for Helsinki. Clear of the pack and also clear very quickly on the scoring pass. Falcon Punch jamming for Montreal. Able to escape the pack, but not much more. And now we're down to 7-point Montreal lead.
We're going to see Terminal City skate against Montreal this weekend. Some Canada on Canada.
That, my friends in Canada who constantly focus on and publish the Canadian Power Rankings will be very excited for that game.
I'm really excited to see how that one will turn out.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Terminal City, and they're a formidable league, as is Montreal.
That they are. Tauro Saxonen jamming for Helsinki. But lead jammer going to Montreal and Falcon Punch. As the pack awaits them at the end of turn 2. And Falcon Punch could feel the heat from Tauro Saxonen, who comes through and picks up 2 points. 2-point-to-1 run for Team Helsinki. Narrowing it further now, a 6-point game, 160-154, 12.5 minutes to go.
This is the closest that we've seen Helsinki come to Montreal in the points differential since
The second jam somewhere
Jam 2, I believe, yeah.
Oh, and a score adjustment. Holland, your grill sliding over to say, no, that was 3 points, not 2 points. So now a 5-point game.
Just one clean pass away from a tie game.
Falcon Punch retaining the star for Montreal. Mia jamming for Helsinki. One Montreal blocker in the penalty box, and Mia's clear and is your lead jammer. Helsinki in control of the clock, and Falcon Punch trapped behind the Helsinki defense.
This could be a tying pass for Mia and Helsinki.
Certainly could. Mia bumps to the side and does bring the feet back in. And that is a cut track and not what Helsinki was looking for at all. Mia heading to the penalty box. Falcon Punch out of the pack, rather, not lead jammer. So we will go for the remaining minute 24 in this jam. As Montreal content to let Falcon Punch do the work, run some clock, push the pack forward.
Pack not going too far in the front.
Not
nice job just holding that tight, like barely moving forward. Rinna.
Oh, and Rinna called for the penalty, sent to the box, and that lets Falcon Punch break free with the 5 points, but great penalty kill as Mia is out of the box and back in play.
Phenomenal. Was that a blocking out of bounds on Rin?
I didn't see the hand signal, actually. It could have been that, might have been out of play. One of the two, but Mia swoops through on the inside, grabs 4 points. Falcon Punch, Bastoyala trying to call off the jam, not remembering, no, ma'am, you are not lead jammer. You got to skate for another 30 seconds. And Mia ushered out of bounds by Scores Easy. And they hold her again against the line and more booty sliding to bump her out. And Mia finally finds a gap through the middle of the pack to escape free.
4 points for Helsinki.
But Falcon Punch has added another 4 on her last pass.
Well, we're not going to see the tie game in this jam, but that's a 15-point game now. Montreal expanding the lead by 10.
And Helsinki calling a timeout, I believe I saw the official review again from Team Helsinki. Hey, they were successful last time. Why not try it again?
We'll see how that results in a few moments.
Yes, and while we're taking this official review, let's thank Sin City Skates. Sin City Skates, where customer service is the name of our games. SinCitySkates.com.
Roller skate holder, keep your skates aired and out and show them off with a bruised skate.
And so we have a challenge on the black jammer for a back block. The rest are going to talk about it, and we'll see what the decision is.
So the official review, Helsinki requesting a review of whether a back block should have been called on the jammer from Montreal. And again, we'll remind you, after this game, the, what is it? Unofficial review, correct?
Unofficial review.
That's what. Excellent choice of a name. Well, since I'm not seeing a jammer in the box, I'm assuming that the official review was denied. So we have Maria Kosonen jamming for Helsinki. And she's trapped at the back and out the front. Our Montreal jammer, Miracle Whips, giving a little hands down sign like, let's calm it down. Let's keep cool. We're in the lead. We got time on our side. Gets bumped to the outside, calls off the jam. 1 point Montreal, 0 Helsinki. And that takes us to 179-163.
If you're joining us at home, be sure and give us a shout here at hashtag Big O 2015.
Both jammers going to the outside and both rolling out of bounds. Taru Saxonen jamming for Helsinki. And Melihuana for Montreal. Melihuana picking up a penalty and heading to the box. Forearm called. Power jam Helsinki. Just when Montreal was calming things down and staying in control of the clock. Taru Saxonen breezes around the outside for a quick 5 points.
Sharp lateral cuts by Taru Saxonen. Finding the lane she needs, gets a recycle, and
she cuts Jess Bandit. Jess Bandit snuck back. She was paying attention to Magnum PEI, who was beautifully knocked down as she tried to recycle back. Did not see Jess Bandit on the inside of the track backing up.
So we've got Meliwana back on the track now. Meliwana in power jam position.
And a shortened power jam at least.
One jammer in, one jammer out. It's like the movie Face Off.
Yes. Only without actual facial removal. We do have toe stop removal, however, as a toe stop rolls across the track. I believe that was Taru Saxonen's perhaps toe stop. Or maybe not. She's pushing against the back of the pack as Meliwana clears the back on her initial pass. No lead jammer, 28 more seconds to go in this jam. As Taru tries to find a line around the inside, can't get there. Has to recycle back. Meliwana now in on her first scoring pass. Looking for space on the outside, nothing there. Now going back to the middle as everything sort of comes to a stop at the top of turn 2.
And that's 3 more points. And 3 more points for Montreal, 2 points for Helsinki.
So a 17-point game, 187 to 170. 7 minutes to go. Mia now jamming for Helsinki. Miracle Whips for Montreal. New skids on the block.
Mia entering that pack like Miley Cyrus. Like a wrecking ball.
And coming out the other side that way, took the pivot down and took her helmet cover off. That's some contact right there. Oh, and Mia gets tripped up a bit in the corner. Whether it was her own feet or some incidental contact doesn't matter, because Miracle Whips is out and is your lead jammer. And Mia at the front, push to the inside, has to recycle back again. Miracle Whips clear with the 5-point grand slam.
Mia down on the track on turn 2. And having to crawl out of bounds and reset. It looked like she had a foot out of bounds.
Hit the corner, foot went out, slid in safe, but slows you down to have to crawl back out.
I got $25 for the first skater that does the kick worm to get back out of bounds.
I'm not sure how fast that would be, but it would be fun to watch.
It'd be amazing.
Montreal now 197 to 170, getting an extra 5 on Miracle Whip's last pass. Mia still struggling on her initial passes. Montreal continuing to pound her out of bounds. And pack thinning out as one skater from each team heads to the box. And also heading to the box is Mia with the back block.
Not Mia anymore. We've got Yannicka Saxonen took that star pass somewhere in the melee.
That's what I get for not watching the screen and instead watching the track. I didn't see that. It was at the far side of the track. Would have been easier if I was looking at the screen. And time runs out on the jam.
Some pretty fierce engagement there between former jammer Mia and Miracle Whips right at the whistle.
And I believe we're getting, looks like I saw an indication for a timeout. Yes, team timeout for Helsinki as they need to regroup, gather their head, as they're now down 37 points. Montreal tipping over 200.
Montreal fans out there. Yeah, those 4 right there.
We want to keep that lead, ladies and gentlemen. Room on to get on the track.
They couldn't bring as many fans because they heard there wasn't any poutine here in Eugene. They're like, no, or you guys go on your own. We'll stay here in Quebec and eat poutine.
As I said, keep with us. Just after this game, I, Casey Bomber, and Megatron will be hosting the unofficial review, your Big O 2015 recap show. If there's anything you missed earlier, we'll bring you up to date on some of the scores today, let you know what there is to come. We're going to try to get Montreal bench coach Plastic Patrick to join us and talk to us a little bit about this game. And we'll be doing that periodically over the course of the weekend, so never fear if you miss something. You've got all the resources you need to keep up to date on WFTDA.tv.
All the recap you could want.
Probably even more recap than you could ever possibly want.
It's sports. There's supposed to be an after show.
I promised that I made Megatron wear blazers, and I'll still look twice as sharp as he will.
There you go. Just keep him from talking about Age of Ultron, and you'll be set.
Good luck.
Falcon Punch jamming for Montreal on the power start. 2 on 3 in the pack. As we've got 2 blockers, 1 jammer, full box in the penalty box for the Helsinki Roller Derby All-Stars. And Falcon Punch punches her way through the front, is your lead jammer. And dances around the inside. Nice, just enough gap to keep the toe stops in bounds and grab the 5 points.
Jannica Saksalin back on the track, wearing the star for Helsinki. And we now have a full deck, all hands on deck, rather.
We're finally playing with a full deck.
They are. I don't know about us.
That is an excellent point. 4 more points for Falcon Punch. As Jannica Saxonine bumped to the outside. Recycling back, going to the top of the helmet, looking like she's going to pass it off. Trying to get it to Majorina. And Jannica wisely saying, oh, I'm still wearing a pivot cover. I should probably take that off.
I think that I saw something going under a shirt.
Yeah, that was her pivot cover from the previous jam, I believe. As Majorina now has the cover in her hand for this jammer, trying to work her way through, but not able to get anywhere. And she is on a power jam as Falcon Punch sitting in the penalty box. She's finally clear. That was the initial pass. Puts on the star on her helmet and now can start picking up some points. With a 3-on-3 pack. As Montreal swarming. And Iris Suominen trying to break things up, but not quite able to. And now Helsinki working on the goat at the back of the pack.
Surgical strike, of course, right up there in front where we've seen her for most of the game.
And
shaving some seconds off of that jam clock. 5 in the air for Rina.
She's able to exit the pack right at the end. And now Plastic Patrick out with the official review sign held up. So we'll get a review from Montreal as the score stands 221-175.
2 minutes, 43 seconds left on the clock. My apologies to anyone watching in Finland if we're stumbling a little bit with the skaters' names. I'm having a great time announcing for Helsinki. I got to announce Team Canada and Team Finland for a game at the World Cup, so I've seen a good handful of girls from both teams skate just about 5 months ago.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a number of Team Helsinki on Finland.
I'll tell you right now, too, Team Finland, they had my favorite fans of all of World Cup. Their fans are amazing. They were rabid. They were just a great time. So if anybody's listening out there in Helsinki or in Finland in general, I'm a big fan of yours.
They had a couple of fans with good signs during the Boston game. I had no idea what they said, but they were holding it up, and the team seemed to appreciate something in Finnish.
They were singing, they were dancing, they were waving things around. They were yelling at us on the microphones. I mean, it's exactly what I want as an announcer in the crowd.
They didn't have the Finnish equivalent of the Vuvuzela, though, I hope.
No, sir.
Blood and Thunder wouldn't allow that in the building, I'm sure. All right, so the word on the official review, Montreal was asking for a cut track on the Helsinki jammer. The no call will stand, and we will reload with Maria Kosonen jamming for Helsinki and Miracle Whips for Montreal.
Back to our regularly scheduled derby. Both jammers on their knees. You can hear those knee pads hitting the floor. And a low block.
Low block called on Kosonen. She tripped up while going through the pack and caught the back of Miracle Whip's foot, I believe, and that was just enough to send her to the box. So another power jam for Montreal. And another 5 points up for Miracle Whips.
We've definitely been seeing a lot of back and forth with the power jams during this entire game. And as always, power jams can be responsible for really changing the whole span of that score.
But they can. Miracle Whips through for a second 5-point power jam grand slam pass. Takes Montreal to 233 as Kosonen out of the penalty box. Just a minute to go of game time. Or, I'm sorry, a minute of jam time. Minute 30 seconds of game time, so we should get in one more jam. Miracle Whips rolling through another 5. Hops over the apex, a beautiful jump, lands it cleanly. Calls off the jam and gets another 5. And that will stretch Montreal now 243 to 175.
Timeout.
And Helsinki calling for the timeout with a minute 17 to go. Their coach is meeting with the team on the track, talking out strategy. They do have 2 skaters in the penalty box. And it looks like one jammer and a blocker in the box. And the jammer is sitting, so 20-ish, 15-ish seconds left on the power jam. I'm not sure.
See Bay Area skaters lined up on the outside of the track over here on turn 3. Turn 2, some Atlanta skaters milling around over there getting ready for their game to come. There is no shortage of incredible roller derby to come still today at the Big O tournament on WFTDA.tv, being held here in Eugene, Oregon.
And more tomorrow and Sunday with more junior action over the next couple of days. If you missed, we had a early juniors game today, the California Mayhem beating Rose City Rosebuds. But meanwhile, there's Montreal and Helsinki. I should probably talk about that, shouldn't we?
Well, let's bring it to a close, see where this one's going to land.
It's going to land with Falcon Punch clear of the back as your lead jammer. And still on the power jam, dancing around. Rina trying to slow her down, not quite able to hold her long enough. So 5 more up for Montreal. And another power jam continuation as Kosonen comes in too hot, gets the back block, smiles as she skates off, shaking her head.
And I'm sure Montreal is going to let this clock keep running as long as they can.
Absolutely. Great opportunity, Montreal, to run the score up more, increase that differential so they don't, helps them in ranking points.
That's right. Well, they've got this power jam advantage. 6 seconds left on the game clock. Plenty more than that on the jam clock for Montreal.
And a beautiful dance along that side line by Falcon Punch. Just go onto the Mohawk and then to the toe stops.
And
rolls through, picks up 5 more.
That's it. Calls
off the jam, and that is the game. Our final score, 258, Montreal, Helsinki 175. So Montreal putting on a bit of the run that they needed at the end to kind of broaden that win, get it back to what was expected by the statistical gurus.
Helsinki coming out strong in the beginning of the second half. Not quite able. They were within 5 points at one point. Not quite able to bring it up and take the lead. Montreal snatched it back, and that's going to bring us to the end of this game.
That it will, and you can go and head over and join Megatron.
All right. I'll see you all on the recap show.
For the unofficial review, not the after party. That's coming later.
That's right.